Imagine yourself walking slowly through the narrow streets of ancient Rome at night, the stones beneath your feet still warm from the day's sun, the air heavy with the mingled scents of oil lamps, smoke, and food. The lamps flicker against the walls, stretching shadows into strange shapes, and every corner seems alive with a whisper, a laugh, or the soft call of a vendor. You hear the crackle of oil as chickpeas fry in shallow pans, the hiss of sausages dripping fat onto hot coals, the faint crunch of bread crusts breaking in eager hands. For the poor, these foods are survival, a way to fill the belly cheaply and quickly. For the wealthy, they are guilty pleasures, indulgences taken in secret, away from the polished marble halls of their villas. You pass an old man crouched beside a basket, pulling out flatbread stuffed with herbs and cheese, focacius still steaming from the oven. People gather around him, pressing coins into his hand, tearing pieces of bread and chewing with the kind of hunger that belongs to the night. The smell clings to you, warm and salty, and you feel the temptation to stop, to taste, to become one of them for a moment. Further along, you find a woman tending a pot of honey, golden and bubbling, into which she drops small fried balls of dough. They sizzle, then soften, then emerge dripping with sweetness. These are globuli, little honey-soaked treasures, the ancestors of doughnuts. A soldier, weary from the road, sits nearby with a plate piled high, his armor dusty, his face lined with exhaustion. Yet as he bites into the sticky sweetness, his eyes close, and for a moment he is not a soldier, but a boy again, tasting joy. Around him, children begged for their own share, tugging at their mothers' tunics, their laughter echoing in the night. The honey clings to their fingers, their lips, their memories. For the Romans, sweetness was not just a flavor, but a comfort, a way to soften the edges of a hard life. You drift further, and the market shifts. Dates appear, split open and filled with walnuts or almonds, their dark skins glistening under the lamplight. These are treats for both the humble and the noble, gifts for guests, snacks for the street. You imagine a mother handing one to her child, the boy's eyes lighting up as though he has been given a treasure beyond measure. In this world without chocolate, without sugar as we know it, honey and fruit are the jewels of the night. They are the comfort food of an empire, the sweetness that binds memory to taste. Your steps carry you onward until the looming shadow of the Colosseum rises before you. Though the night is quiet, your mind fills with the roar of the crowd, the clash of steel, the cries of men and beasts. You see the vendors weaving through the masses, their baskets heavy with olives, salted nuts, and sausages still steaming from the fire. The smell of roasted meat mingles with the dust of the arena, the sweat of the crowd, the metallic temps of blood. It is a strange harmony, food and violence, pleasure and spectacle. The people cheer as gladiators strike, and between shouts they chew, they swallow, they lick grease from their fingers. It is not so different from a modern stadium, where chips and soda accompany the drama of sport. The Romans too needed their snacks, their comforts, their distractions. Among the wealthy, the food is stranger, more extravagant. You glimpse flamingo tongues served on silver trays, dormice stuffed with herbs and roasted until golden oysters carried from distant seas. These are not foods of hunger but of pride, symbols of wealth and power meant to astonish as much as to satisfy. Yet for the majority, the fare is simple: bread, cheese, figs, and watered wine. A young man sits with his friend, each holding a crust of bread, laughing as they watch the spectacle unfold. Their crumbs fall like confetti, their laughter rising above the clash of swords. For them, this is not just entertainment, but a moment of escape, a pause in the endless labor of life. Slowly, the noise fades, the images blur, and you are left with the lingering sense of taste and smell. The fried chickpeas, the honey cakes, the salted nuts, the bread and cheese, all of it becomes a lullaby of flavors, a reminder that even in the greatest empire, people sought the same small comforts we do today. Just as someone now might open a bag of chips at midnight or sneak a spoonful of ice cream in the dark, the Romans too found solace in their junk food, their guilty pleasures, their sweet and salty escapes. The streets grow quieter, the lamps burn lower, and you feel your own eyes grow heavy. The city of Rome, with all its noise and hunger, folds itself around you like a blanket. You breathe in the last traces of honey and smoke, and as your steps slow, you drift into sleep, carried by the flavors of an ancient world that feels, somehow, not so different from our own.